Recording in progress.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lynchburg. We're so glad you're here, and hopefully nobody had to paddle here. And we think of those people who are working on leaks in basements and onto floors. Yes, we're so glad you're here. Whoever you are, whatever your beliefs, whatever your age, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we work for justice, compassion, and peace, we also acknowledge with humility that our buildings sit on Monacan land. My name is Terry Bailiff. I'm the contract minister serving this congregation, and I share the ministry with all the members and friends of this congregation. If you're here with us for the first time, we're glad you chose to be here this morning to participate in the service for this congregation we love. If you'd like to receive our monthly newsletter and Friday e-news updates, then you can fill out the virtual visitor card, which is found on our website, uulynchburg.org, under Sunday services, or you can fill out the visitor card found in the back of the chair in front of you. And then when the offering basket comes around, you can just place it in there. This morning, we particularly welcome Anna Tulou, who is our guest speaker this morning. She's a minister she's a student at Meadville Lombard, and she's the intern minister in our Blacksburg congregation. We also offer a special welcome today to our Generosity Sunday speaker, Mark Sheehan. I haven't seen Mark. He's the director of the Boys and Girls Club. He may be bailing water somewhere. So Finnis, could you say a few words if Mark can't get here? Oh, okay, okay. I'll do a tap dance or something. So please take note of the announcements in the bulletin, and if you're on Zoom, those announcements can be found in the Friday e-news. So now I invite us to release our worries about the world and our own lives as we enter into our service by taking just a few slow, calming breaths. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life. So Anna and I have been talking about the order of service for a couple of weeks. Little did we know when she suggested our opening hymn that it would be so appropriate for this morning. So enjoy it, sing along with the lyrics on the hymnal, and you can rise in body or spirit.
We are living with the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone, I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it's be my crime. In humility, I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living with the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head, my heart. I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those come before me, band together to be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living with the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living with the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power
seated. And I'd like to invite those young at heart to join me up here. Good morning. It's nice to see everybody today. You know, one of the things that I heard in that song that we just shared together was that we're all that was fun. I heard that we're all born with gifts, and as we grow up, we sometimes learn what they are, because when we're born, we don't know everything that we're going to know in the world, right? I know. Huh? Yeah. So one of the things that summer is really good for is swimming, but something comes before swimming. We have to learn how to swim. Yes, that.
Like, let's not to like, let it now say lake.
Okay, like in the lake?
Yeah, now I lose my water's life when
your life does.
they swallowed it by dance.
Ah, well, I'm wondering if swimming is one gift that we learn. I hear that someone has been really working on that gift this summer and has like learned how to jump off the high dive. Has anybody here learned to jump off the high dive this summer? Yes. 2, 3 people. That's exciting. 4 people.
Hugh did too.
You did too. Oh, great. So,
Oh my God.
Marielle, yes. You learned to jump off? That's great. So there are other gifts that we learn about and other interesting things. You know, the song also talked about we need to keep all of our senses open. I discovered something really wonderful this week that I didn't know, and I'm pretty old. I didn't know about evening primrose.
What's that?
It's a wildflower, or maybe a garden flower. But in the evening, it gets ready to open up. And you know, the bud, like we see on different plants, all of a sudden it starts like jumping and spinning like there's something inside of it. And then it pops open.
And the seeds are inside of it.
Yes.
What
Yes.
the?
I know, it's pretty amazing. So I think what's really important is when we're thinking about what it means to swim to the other side from one place to another, is all the things that we learn along the way. It's sort of like crossing a bridge or walking through a doorway. As we get older, we learn more and more. So this summer, I want you to keep your eyes and ears, maybe not always your mouths, your nose to learn new senses, new touches, new feelings. Always keep your senses open, because they're gifts that are going to help you learn new skills. Whether you're this age or you're that age, that's really important. I see your baby. That's really cute. You did. I'm glad you learned how to do that.
It's a doggy corn.
Ah, okay. So I'd like for y'all to think about this, because today y'all are going to be learning some fun things in religious education. So keep your senses open and keep learning. Okay. May we sing them on their way.
everyone hear me all right? Yes. Excellent. Just do this if you can't hear me at any point. My name is Anna Tulou, and I use she and they pronouns, and I'm really glad to be here today. A month ago, today, my fiance and I were in Fayetteville, West Virginia. And our friends took us on this scenic drive to see the immense bridge there that spans the New River Gorge. And if you've never been there, I highly recommend it. So we ended up viewing it from atop the bridge itself, from which you really can't see much because it's so high up. And then we also saw it from underneath, from a bunch of different angles. And it's spectacular. Now, our friend John is a rafting guide there, and he likes, so it's got this huge arch, immense.
Let's ask David to put that up, that wonderful picture up.
Oh, that would
that
be
Eric took.
Okay, Eric took this picture, my fiance, and you can see, I mean, it doesn't do it justice, it's immense. And this arch spans the rapids far, far below. And John, our rafting guide friend, likes to try to convince folks that they started constructing it from the middle, which is, it's not true. And as we drove and we sort of gaped at this feat of engineering and the labor that must have gone into this, and the magnificent views that we were seeing, John repeatedly asked this question, half in jest and half in all earnestness: what is a bridge? What is a bridge? Over and over. Move the mic closer. Thank you, Miles. Is that better? Okay. So today we are going to explore one potential answer to that question. What is a bridge? First, let us orient ourselves with the words of reading 563 in the Gray Hymnal. This reading is often misattributed to Emerson, but there's actually no evidence that he ever spoke or wrote these words. Sometimes attributions like this are made for the sake of adding weight or credibility to what's being said. But I think these words carry enough weight on their own. And as far as what it has to do with bridges, maybe you can tell me later. A person will worship something. Have no doubt about that. We may think our tribute is paid in secret in the dark recesses of our hearts, but it will out. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and character. Therefore, it behooves us to be careful what we worship. For what we are worshiping, we are becoming.
I will be checking with Mark Sheehan to make sure that he's okay. Enough people are stranded or bailing water this morning that we certainly want to support him and anybody else who's having trouble. Our Generosity Sunday charity this month is the Boys and Girls Clubs. And most of us are aware of that organization, but they make a tremendous difference in the lives of so many young people as they come up, providing mentors and a positive way for young people to get involved in positive groups and frankly, to put it bluntly, keeping children off the streets where they might be vulnerable and be exposed to not positive role models or situations. So this morning, as we take an offering of our gifts, we want to remember and support the Boys and Girls Clubs, even as we support this congregation's work, because we appreciate your gifts of time and talent, but also we appreciate the monetary support you give. And so we will take an offering and we will gratefully receive your gifts, which are generously offered. Doing the readings now or later? Okay. Sorry. It is the tradition of our community to share our joys and concerns.
Recording in progress.
Spirit of life and love, we hold up today the wonder and mystery of the world, of life, of Mother Nature, who makes life possible and who challenges us. We give thanks today for life, for all the stages, the gifts of learning, of evolving, of transforming, as we learn to be more fully human and more fully ourselves. We give thanks today for Anna and her journey in ministry and the gift of her wisdom as she joins us today. We give thanks for all those who work with the Boys and Girls Clubs, who make such a difference in the lives of young people, who seek affirmation and support. We are aware today of those who are suffering in mind, body, or spirit, that they may find healing and wholeness. And we hold up our awareness that there is work for us to do in the world to build more justice, more hope, more peace, that we might live love in the world. This we ask in the name of all that is sacred. Amen.
Thank you. We have two short readings this morning to set the mood for bridging. The first comes from an architect named Santiago Calatrava. He writes, "Building a bridge, in my opinion, is a symbolic gesture linked with the needs of people who cross over it and with the idea of overcoming or surmounting obstacles. A modern bridge can also be a work of art. It helps to shape our daily lives and becomes a vital experience for all the people who use it." And second is from a novel called Painted Oxen, as in cow oxen kind of thing, by Thomas Lloyd Qualls. There are two paths for anyone who is seeking to learn that which is kept hidden. One is to initiate into a society, secret or not, with traditions that are well established. The other is to seek one's own path and forge the way by trial and error. Either choice is dangerous. In order to master the mysteries of the universe, one must bridge heaven and earth. The bridge is a world in itself. So, what is a bridge? What is a bridge? Ever since I was a child, I've been fascinated by bridges. I mean, they're kind of magical, right? They carry with them a sense of possibility and a thrill of danger and also empowerment. I've always been scared of heights. So the fact that someone had the gall to build this thing, to defy both gravity and geography, is kind of incredible to me. And every time I walk a bridge, I force myself, my heart beating a little faster, to lean over and look, because what I will see is something that I could only see from this perspective because of this bridge. Whether it's an endless stretch of white-capped water or a mountain gorge, or the crisscrossing curves of highway exit ramps or patchwork of streets and buildings, that's the gift of the bridge, this perspective. That and the ability to cross from one side to another. And even bridges that I've walked 100 times still give me this thrill. And I'm in seminary, so I've been thinking a lot about the nature of religion, why we need it, why we gather. And certainly religions have been twisted and contorted to harmful ends. But at its best, I think of religion as a bridge. It is, after all, a human construction. Now, many of us believe in God or gods, and we wouldn't be comfortable with describing them as human constructions. But religions are constructs which we have built for collective worship. Of course, in UU, even believing in God or gods is not required. Many of us are non-theists, and yet still I suggest that all of us worship. Remember that opening reading A person will worship something. Have no doubt about that. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and character. I think that's why we gather. We are drawn to this religion of ours, to our shared and evolving principles and values. Some of us are cradle UUs, born and raised. Others were raised in other traditions that didn't quite fit us, or we didn't quite fit them. And so we wandered until we found ourselves welcome here in this bridge of human construction that is Unitarian Universalism. But if religion is a bridge, why do we build these bridges? Well, every bridge is built to take people from one place to another, to connect two sides. One suggestion, and I could come up with more, I promise, is that religion at its best helps us to connect our mundane day-to-day with our spiritual life and practice. And likewise, to connect our ideals and our beliefs and our values to our work in the world. It's a place where we gather with others who are searching and yearning for something more. And no, I don't think spiritual life and practice has to be God-centered. You can call it transcendence or mindfulness. But still, it is a yearning for more. For more. And so here we are on the bridge together. We learn, we love, and sometimes we get pissed off, but we take what we learn and we apply it in our lives, our own practice, whatever that might look like. There's something in us, at least in me, that is drawn to the far side, the branching pathways of a personal spiritual practice. And these are not the same as the well-paved ways of communal religion, but religion can help us to get there. Religion may never give us the answers, and if it claims to have all the answers, I would take that with a pound of salt. But religion is very good at prompting us to ask better questions. Now, can a person bridge and connect the worlds of our mundane and our spiritual lives without religion? Of course. They might have to take the long way around, and the path won't be so well worn. And still others avoid the bridge altogether, focused by necessity or circumstance or by choice, solely on survival. For those of us who have been drawn to gather in religious community, this is a bridge that we will cross many times during our lives. In fact, I'd wager that many of us cross this bridge many times a day as we attempt to balance fulfilling our practical obligations with living our principles, nurturing our spiritual lives, finding moments of gratitude and grace, taking the time to say thank you to our gods or to the earth, or simply for the sake of speaking our thanks into the universe. And of course, some people get stuck on the bridge, sometimes neglecting the practical needs of life altogether on the one side, or more often fearful to tread beyond on the other. They're wary of venturing into the world of unpredictability that is a personal practice. Because religion helps us to bridge this too, the gap between that which is rational and carefully labeled and predictable, and that which is wilder and ineffable. The bridge can become a place where we safely enjoy talking about practice, talking about change and growth, without ever having to cross over and take the risk of putting those ideas into action. And so too, we can become attached to the architecture of our bridges, the practices and prayers and principles that have brought us so much comfort. We don't want them to change. That's natural. But the bridge, all bridges, must grow and change with us and with time if it is to retain its integrity, if it's not to collapse. Ours is a living tradition, one that welcomes reflection, renovation, and repair. Like a bridge, religion is not meant to be a static destination. It is a communal conduit. It is meant for movement, for journeying, both inward and outward. So what's on the other side? That's the most magical thing about this particular bridge that I'm imagining. The other side looks different for each of us. And although we can certainly argue, and I would love to sometime, whether we all ultimately end up in the same place, only I can explore my own personal practice. Sometimes the path will be clear and inviting, and we long to return to the bridge to celebrate and share our experience with others. And other times, the thickets and briars will be so thick and impenetrable that we will retreat to the bridge for comfort and for more, better questions before we venture out again. And perhaps the path will be easier next time. Or perhaps we will have learned something new to help us navigate the thornier parts. It can seem unreasonable to explore spiritual practices when there is so much work that needs to be done in this world. And there is great nourishment to be found. Nourishment that can strengthen and sustain our work. I invite you to explore courageously. I invite you to make room for moments of deep gratitude, reflection, mindfulness, and if you're feeling adventurous, the unpredictable oneness that can arise all at once out of authentic ritual or dance or singing or chanting, mantras, painting with your toes. Not every path will work for you, but keep exploring and learn what is it that helps you, as Qualls put it, to bridge heaven and earth. The more we explore these regions, the more we can integrate these gifts into our lives and communities. And the more we gather, the greater the abundance we have to share. Our journeys are our own individually, but that doesn't mean that we can't share them. And it is in the sharing that we gain the perspective and the wisdom and the support and the challenge that we need to continue growing. Whatever your side of the bridge looks like, I am so glad to be on this bridge with you. I'm so glad that you have taken this time out of your busy and somewhat soggy lives to connect in this space as we hover over who knows what, heading to who knows where. For right now, we are on the bridge together. And what a view it is. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. Our closing hymn this morning is in the Teal hymnal. It's number 1020, Woyaya, which was written originally by a British Afro-Caribbean band, Osibisa.
Please rise and body your spirit. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
With words adapted from Reverend Rebecca Savage, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, we have gathered upon the bridge of a shared faith. We are born of a welcoming grace that extends and receives love. We are touched by the ways we have fallen short of who we strive to be. And we here are reborn, forged by a greater courage. Let us move from this place encouraged and refreshed for the journey ahead. Go with grace. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Blessed be, go in peace, and thank you, Anna.